And welcome. It is with deep sadness and despair that we are brought here together to put to rest the 3D TV and all its plastic glasses who are now polluting your oceans. Or are they? Yes, it could happen to you. Just imagine, you could be with your family out at the beach, keeping your 1.5 meter distance from one another or other enemy families, and then when you least expected, you could step on a 3D TV, cut your leg, end up in hospital, cry, waste the resources of your country, and if you're in America, go bankrupt over a stubbed toe. Always watch where you are walking. Remember, dumping 3D TVs in the ocean hurts everyone. It damages our way of life. The 3D TV has led a long, wild life. Oscar Wilde would be jealous, and not because his last name has Wilde with an E in it, but because 3D TV sets were not persecuted during their magical life that also lasted that long. So where did these monstrosities come from, you may ask? As we guide them into the ground, let's look back at where they came from. The stereoscope was first invented by Sir Charles Wheatstone in 1838. Yes, 1838. It showed that when two pictures are viewed stereoscopically, they are combined by the brain to produce 3D depth perception. The stereoscope was improved by Louis Jules Dubosc, and a famous picture of Queen Victoria was displayed at the Great Exhibition in 1851. Then in 1855 the kinematoscope was invented. Then in the late 1890s the British film pioneer William Friss Green filed a patent for a 3D movie processor. Then on 10th June 1915, former Edison Studios chief director Edwin S. Porter and William E. Waddell presented tests in red-green anaglyphs to an audience at the Astor Theatre in New York City. And then in 1922, the first public 3D movie, The Power of Love, was displayed. We've come full circle. It's a romantic 3D movie. Yeah. It's been around for yonks in some way, shape or form. Now, 3D television did not become popular until after the CES 2010 trade show, when major manufacturers began selling a full lineup of 3D televisions. Now, according to DisplaySearch, 3D television shipment totaled 41.45 million units in 2012, compared that with 24.14 million in 2011 and 2.26 in 2010. 2012 was the peak. Then, in late 2013, the number of 3D TVs started to decline, and in 2016, development of 3D TVs was limited to a few premium models. So, here are the 4 reasons why 3D TVs perished under the weight of their own success over the last 150 years? Number 1, it makes a lot of people sink. I think the studies are something like 20 to 25% of people still get nausea viewing 3D content on a home television. This is a major hurdle that VR, AR, MR are going to have to overcome as well in this day and age. That's a large segment of the population. Number 2, the eyewear used to be uncomfortable. Unlike movie theaters, passive glasses, which are light, relatively inexpensive, and can be quite large, home 3D systems used to require active glasses, which are expensive, heavy, comparatively small lenses, and need to be charged or have a little battery like a battery from a watch. While they got better and cheaper later, most people perceived it as bad value proposition to have to shell out hundreds of dollars so the whole family could watch 3D content while wearing bulky equipment that could run out of power and not work mid-show. You would only get 1 or 2 of these glasses with your single TV, then you'd have to shell out another 100 per glass. Though from 2014, passive 3D TVs became more affordable, and those glasses you used to get from the cinemas were also useful at home. Unfortunately, this did not help save the 3D TV. So let's look at number 3. There was a very small amount of 3D content. Aside from few 3D TV channels in the US, and that's just the United States, and a smallish number of 3D Blu-rays, which you actually had to also have a special 3D Blu-ray player, which was another expense on top of the expensive TV. There was no immediate catalog of 3D content. In all of 2010 and 2011, there were less than 100 titles available in 3D Blu-ray, and they were mostly horror movies and children's titles. I remember seeing a lot of those actually. But in saying that, I do remember some. Avatar had a bit of a 3D thing, and I can certainly remember that movie being the only one I actually watched in 3D on my one and only 3D TV. But to note, I didn't even watch it in full, as it was much darker and the colors were not as vivid. Overall, it just didn't look very good. To add to that, let's go on to number 4. 3D doesn't add a huge amount of value to home broadcast. Unlike cinemas where the big screen and sound and the relatively short running times can make 3D a nice occasional novelty, there's no huge benefit to watching 3D programming. Notice that in cinemas, there is basically no 3D movies anymore. Unlike the switch from standard definition to high definition, 3D was just not as good. It wasn't comparable in any way. In fact, sports broadcasts had some 3D and people just couldn't follow the action because it was usually faster and it was usually more exciting, and watching it in 3D was very difficult. So there you have it. 2016 is the year of the rest in pieces of 3D TVs. Now, before I sign off, when researching this topic, I found a lot of articles about how the next big thing is going to be VR. These articles were from 2017. Now, looking back, it's great because they touted how many channels and broadcasters are going to make all their content available in VR. And look what's happened now. An article in Lifehacker touted that the 7 Network also partnered with Samsung to provide VR and 360 video experiences from the Rio Olympics. Who remembers doing anything VR related during those Olympics? I certainly don't, and I had VR capable stuff. Now, even though 84% of Australians have smartphones, it's not a great experience on a smartphone. Remember those little cardboard boxes that you put your phone in? That was fun for like a day. In fact, that's why there are dedicated VR devices now to try and make VR reality. And 3 years ago, they also said that Channel 10 could allow its audience 360 access to the I'm a Celebrity Getting Me Out of Here jungle show, sit in the lounge room with Wayne and Tom on Googlebox, or be in the center of the trials for Survivor. Yeah, did that happen? Nope. In any case, there you have it. 3 years later, none of the above happened, and bigger, brighter, and more colorful TVs are the king. Let me know in the comments below if you have a 3D TV, and when was the last time you watched a 3D movie or anything 3D? And actually, if you ever watched it till the end, I'd love to know. Let's chat in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you in another one. Bye!